Creating a showreel can be one of the first major steps for a cinematographer to enter the industry, and is therefore very important to get right. As there are no concrete guides on how to create an effective showreel, the next best thing is to look at other successful cinematographers' reels and to evaluate them, and to see what they have done well and what can be learned from them so it can be applied to your own. Thinking of the showreel as similar to a CV or an effective covering letter would be a fair comparison. It is a record of your abilities and your best work that is used to show an employer the kinds of things that can be expected from you, so you have to be sure to demonstrate your capabilities at lighting, shot composition, framing, and lens usage. So, in this video I'm going to be taking a look at a showreel from Amy Army Bornstein. I'll be evaluating it to consider the creative decisions of this filmmaker and how this can be applied in the creation of my own showreel. So first, let's watch the example. Now, the first thing that can be noticed in this clip is there is a wide range of work. There appears to be a fair amount of commercial work, as well as fictional, and even some documentary. While it is good to be able to show your range, it's much better to focus on one particular field of filmmaking first. This is something that I will take into consideration when creating my showreel. I will ensure that I only use clips that demonstrate my cinematography skills within a particular style, most likely fictional/drama pieces, as this is where most of my work comes from. Looking at the showreel itself, the choice to have it start with the start button from a car is a smart one. The point of it is clear and feels as if it is initiating something big, something that will make you pick this filmmaker in particular. Now, to focus more on the actual cinematography of this reel, let's start with lighting. The lighting within many of these clips seems to follow standardized 3-point lighting. Within many of these shots, there is a clear and consistent use of a key, fill, and a backlight. For example, within this shot here, we can see the use of 3-point lighting. The key is likely to come from here, the fill here, and the backlight here. As a demonstration of this, I've included a clip from one of my own shots. While we were limited by the confines of the room, as the walls were static, we still managed to achieve 3-point lighting. The key is to the right of the camera, there is a very light back to the left of the camera, and the fill is to the right. Looking back at this clip, the lights can hardly be noticed. This might be something to take note of in the future. However, you do not always need to use 3-point lighting. Many times you can use extreme lighting options to achieve a similar effect or enhance certain motions of the shot. Sometimes using just 1 or 2 lighting rigs can be just as emotionally impactful and effective as using 3. For example, in this shot, from one of our first projects, a single point of light is used by being placed behind the subject. Due to some fortunate weather, mostly fog, this cast a wide shadow from behind the subject, as well as illuminating his breath. This fact shows the viewer that this is a powerful figure by being shot from below and remaining the sole focus in the shot, someone to be feared or cautious of, someone with power. Looking at this shot alone, it is likely that the genre can be assumed to be horror or drama, and that is with just the picture alone, without the sound. Showing to a potential employer that you have the ability to know when to use certain lighting rigs is one major part of a list of things that a cinematographer has to show in their showreels. This is certainly something that I will strive to demonstrate in my own reel. Another important point of note for the evaluation of a filmmaker's show reel is their shot composition. One of the most important parts of being a cinematographer is the use of space within the frame. Framing someone entirely within the center may not always be the best course of action. Using a third being a partly imaginary but definable sectioning of what is in the frame, is often a setting that can be enabled on a camera that will show definable bounds of a shot. Placing things on or within the furthest left or right third is often found to be visually appealing. This is also something that somebody looking through these reels will take note of. Additionally, showing versatility in how you use the camera, things such as Dutch tilts, handheld shots, and locked off static shots can also help. Showing technicality with depth of field and lens type is also an important aspect. Knowing when to use a wide, close, or mid-range lens can really help to show you know what you're doing. Having the expertise to show a potential employer that you can achieve the aesthetic that they are looking for is a big bonus. For example, in this filmmaker's show reel, there are many different shots with varying depth of field and closeness to the subject. For example, this shot. While it is not my proudest work, it is particularly strong in my opinion. It demonstrates the use of depth of field, while limited, and the manipulation of the camera to be used in close proximity to the subject. It is also a handheld shot, within a plethora of static tripod shots. It is an example of showing versatility and knowing when or when not to use certain shot types. Focusing more on the reel itself for a second, the frequency of cuts or shot transitions stays fairly consistent the whole way through. This demonstrates proficiency, not only within the shot, but also within the post-section of making content. Having the understanding of how a piece will cut together in the post-process is a big bonus that will be appreciated by those you work with. This creator demonstrates this with fluid and smooth cuts, knowing where the eye will be looking just before the cut so that the viewer is not having to find what the subject of that shot is. This is a demonstration of a truly proficient practitioner of filmmaking. Isolating a subject to be looked at demonstrates this proficiency. Additionally, this cinematographer knows how to match the movement. In this particular section, this creator knows that the eye is following the movement and therefore knows to cut to a similar shot with movement. While it is more of a minor point, there are certain sections in which the creator uses light foley to enhance the shot that is being shown. Particular sections that stand out are the sounds of a car engine, the birds flapping their wings, and the beep of the heart monitor within the medical shot. This can help to show an understanding of the energy of a shot and the general premise within it. This links to how useful the ability to know the post-process can be when creating content. Again, another minor point focused on the showreel's composition is the choice of music. The piece matches well and is consistent with the shots that are shown. Many of the shots are shot in slow motion or show landscapes. This is something I will take note of and ensure to use in my reel, as it can be used to enhance the shown shot. To help validate some of the points I've made, I'm going to include some clips from another show reel. For example, in this shot, much of the subject lies in the right third and features a shallow depth of field, masking the background and making for a more visually interesting shot. Additionally, the lighting illuminating the center of frame, part of the subject's face that is closer to the center, shows this cinematographer's ability. This shot was definitely personally picked for its visual fidelity and technical proficiency. Again, this creator has used many different media types. There are clips from music video, commercial, and fictional pieces. All within the same reel. It is possible that they are just trying to show and validate a distinctive style to their shooting that remains consistent across any medium. So, to conclude what I've gathered from looking at these show reels, being able to cut consistently and smoothly between shots will make for a more visually appealing reel, as well as demonstrating technicality, especially when cutting on movement or where the eye is looking, and ensuring that you use only your best work that demonstrates the criteria of a good cinematographer.